15 to the Patriots, and I really struggled with it, honestly. You know, you look at 4 with Atlanta is certainly a possibility, but I had Zach Wilson going there for the BYU quarterback. You got to figure out what's going on with Detroit at 7, and then also the Cowboys at 10 are the other 2 spots where I thought about putting him, but I wound up putting him in 15. I think he has more developing to do. I see the talent. He obviously is big, strong, smart. He's got a strong arm and has all the just about everything you look for. But I think processing and getting through his reads has been an issue. And you go back even to that Indiana game and the 3 interceptions he had in that game. And, you know, there are just ups and downs with him. And so I think he's more of a mid-first round type of player, but there are some people who think he could go number 1 overall, you know, if Urban Meyer takes that Jacksonville job. So we'll see how it shakes out. But to me, it's Trevor Lawrence, and then there's a big gap between those other 4 quarterbacks that I have going in the first round.
And I was going to say that, Todd, I've talked to a number of people across the league just over the last, several weeks and talked about the difference between Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and some of those other quarterbacks. And he could go 1, he could go 2, meaning Fields, he can go anywhere in the draft. But the gap isn't as large as most people are trying to say, given the fact that Trevor Lawrence has struggled in what we would deem as big-time games. His numbers look good, but he struggled with throwing the football. Why is he this consistent number 1 on your board?
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, the talent level. And then there's also the maturity that he brings and how consistent he's been in terms of his mental makeup and just getting better every single year. I hear you, and I also think, if there's one concern or one issue, to me, it's not even the big games because he's competing and he's fighting. He lost 2,800 receiving yards in his 3 receivers that were lost from a year ago. So and his offensive line was not very good. But to me, he's as good as Andrew Luck was coming out of college, and I know Andrew Luck probably didn't live up to all the expectations because of injury and retiring early. But Andrew Luck, in my 15 years of doing this, has been the highest prospect that I've had. And I just think that Trevor Lawrence has got a lot of the same qualities that Luck did when he was coming out of Stanford.
Let me ask you this. If he does not go 1,
yep,
and for some reason Urban Meyer takes Justin Fields or somebody else, and the Jets are sitting there at 2.
Then he's going 2 to the Jets. The Jets want Trevor. But
the Jets doesn't even have a head coach yet.
You asked a question, I gave you an answer.
No, I'm just saying they don't even have a head coach yet.
If the Jets were picking at 1, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. But I don't think they're going to take one of these other quarterbacks at number 2. I think, Joe. I went to school with Joe Douglas. I know Joe very well. He grew up in the scouting community under Ozzie Newsome, who was one of the best GMs in the history of the NFL. And what they want to do is stockpile picks. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if they took advantage of a team trying to move up to get Zach Wilson from BYU or to get Justin Fields at that number 2 spot and to get even more picks. They have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. And, to me, moving back would make a lot of sense. If not, then they gave up, I think, 43 sacks the last year. And so Penei Sewell is the best offensive lineman in this draft. If they're stuck at number 2 and Trevor goes 1, I think they take the offensive lineman Sewell from Oregon.
Todd, very quickly, take me into the weeds on this one. You have mentioned the phrase, the talent level for Trevor Lawrence is just so absurd. It's different. Break that down for me. Like, what does that mean in layman's terms? What do you mean by talent level?
Well, I mean, he's big, he's strong, he's durable. He's got a big-time arm. He's also mobile. I mean, how many 6'6" guys can run the way that he can run? And in today's NFL, you've got to be able to extend plays. And so to have that size the durability, the ability to extend plays, and then the touch and trajectory of his throws. Again, he lost all of his receivers, all of them from a year ago. Everyone was gone. He had nothing to throw to, and his offensive line was not nearly as good as it was a year ago. And he still got them to the semifinal game and battled. So I think it's that, and then the maturity that he has and the ability to process as quickly as he does is what really stands out to me on tape.
You got Devontae Smith going third to Miami, so that would put him back with his teammate Tua. What makes Smith such a special wideout, given the fact that receivers this size don't traditionally go in the top 5 in the draft? The last guy to go was as big as me, and that was Kelvin Johnson back in 2007.
He reminds me a lot of Marvin Harrison. Marvin, obviously, NFL Hall of Famer. He has instincts, and he knows how to separate. He can get in and out of breaks. He knows when zone coverage, where to be, where to sit down. He knows how to get open. And you saw this year. I mean, they lost 2 first-round draft picks at wide receiver last year, in Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. Then they lose another first-round wide receiver in Jalen Waddle this year. And he steps up, and it's like every game it's 150, 220. He took over, and I love his competitiveness, and I love his sense of the game. And you can trust him as a quarterback. You know that relationship between a quarterback and receiver. You got to be able to trust the guy, and you can always trust that he's going to be in the right place at the right time, make the right break, find that soft spot in zone, and he showed up when they needed him most.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.